actuarial exams changed the entire way I look at exams. And before we dive into it, let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Ananya Agarwal and I have cleared 6 out of 13 actuarial papers in a span of like 2.5 years. Okay, so it all started in March 2023 when I just passed my class 12th and I was so confused. Like just like any confused kid, the only thing I was thinking कि यार अब क्या करना है? Because there were relatives and people who were coming to me with suggestions. Some were saying a CA, a CS, a CMA, a ACCA. There were like countless list of things that I could pursue. But honestly, I wanted to do something different. And actuarial science had been on my mind because I had heard about it from people and I had watched videos and everything. So the first exam I was preparing for was CS1, now which is the actuarial statistics paper if you have prepared for it. Okay, so now it has 2 parts, the R programming and the theory part. So I would like make a very clear study schedule. I would divide my day into 2 parts for R programming and for the sums part, practice consistently, and I had like 3-4 months, which is like enough for CS1. So I was well prepared to be fair. But I remember like 5 days before the exam, I remember being scared. But however, I just prepared for the exam, I just went to the exam and I passed, luckily. Now that is supposed to bring some confidence in you, right? But maybe that didn't work for me that well because I remember I started preparing for CM1 again very consistently, splitting your day, a study schedule, following it consistently, everything was going right. But then I remember February because I had to appear for the exam in April. So when the February came, I remember we had to register for the exam. And when the registration opened, I again panicked. Now this panic was different from that panic because at least in that panic, I appeared for the exam. In this panic, I did not register. I was like terrified. I thought I'll fail, although I'd like covered the syllabus. But I thought कि नहीं होगा. I can't do it. बहुत लंबा syllabus है. I am overconfident. It is not happening. There's also Excel to do and there's this to do and I don't know this. मतलब the thoughts that come to your mind when when the imposter syndrome kicks in. I did not register. April happened. The exams passed. And when I saw the past year question paper, I realized I had been a fool, a complete fool. The paper was fairly manageable. I'd not say easy, but it was something that I could have passed with like, let's say 70% probability. And something of that high probability, if you miss it, that's like the worst thing you do to yourself. And honestly, but you know what? This time I decided, whatever it is, I'll appear for it. And because I didn't want to waste time and I knew I was well prepared in CM1, so I started studying for CB1 alongside. Okay, so I was studying for CB1 because I had class 12 commerce. I was in commerce and I had all these economics, accounting and all these subjects. So it was not that difficult for me and I could manage it all in a span of 3 to 4 months, which was the gap. And so I prepared both and I appeared for both. Now I remember the results day because there were like 2 papers and it's not really easy to manage 2 papers. Anybody who's preparing for actuarial exams will know that you need a really structured routine to clear 2 papers or to appear for 2 papers. It has to follow a structure. So I passed both CM1 and CB1, but then again there was something else waiting for me. Now this year had taught me one thing very clearly, that if you're somebody who's underconfident and you're somebody who always keeps on thinking about failure, you will never do anything. So the thing that I learned at that point of time was simply to accept whatever comes your way, to just give your 100% like I was giving till then and to just keep moving forward. So that is what I started doing. The next paper was CS2. Now I started preparing for CS2 really confidently. I did not want any negative thought, anything to even come close to me and to kind of, again pollute my thoughts. But then again, friends will be friends. Somebody told me that the Markov unit, if you have studied CS2, there are a bunch of like 4 or 5 chapters which is like based on Markov chain and Markov jump and all those things. Stochastic process basically. So the Markov unit is really difficult. It's something that I tried doing and I failed CS2 because of that. These are all the things that I was hearing. So what did I do? I was preparing for the others, but I left the Markov unit till the last moment. Now, since all the others were well prepared, I still had a month. I picked up the whole Markov unit chapters and I practiced it and I passed CS2. But just imagine if that underconfidence had again creeped in. Now, in the next September, I again had my exam. But this time, I had started applying for internships. And I remember I was getting a few interviews. So I had to prepare for all those interviews. I also had to learn a few more skills because I really wanted to stand out. And along with all of that, I was preparing for 2 papers. But this time it was not that scary at all. I had learned the art of managing papers. I had learned the art of staying consistent and being confident. Although there were parts of it which were like, again, I was nervous. For example, the 5-step method in CM2. Those were the parts that I was really underconfident in. But again, when you learn something the hard way, it stays with you. So it really stayed with me that I need to just stay consistent. And I had like an internship scheduled right after my exams. So I was juggling a lot of things at once, but I had ultimately learned the art. And then I appeared for CM2 and CB2 in September 2025, and I cleared it when the results came in December 2025. And this is exactly how I have 6 papers under my belt today. Now there are a lot of study techniques that are involved here, and I would not say they are some shortcuts, but there's something that could really help somebody who wants to, just know about it. Although different things work for different people, but you could give it a shot. And I'll try to make a new video on that because I've received DMs from a lot of people saying they want a video on that. So that is something that we'll cover in the future. But until then, bye bye.